Hey everybody, it is Thursday, June, I can't even pretend to know what day, June 18th, and I am Ashley Fields here with Yard Arrest, and tonight we are going to paint our little Miss Piggy. I'm so glad you guys have been able to join me tonight. Give me just 1 second as I get all of my stuff pulled up. I'm so glad to get to be here. It's been a few weeks, you guys. I don't think I've been live in maybe 2 weeks, a little bit over 2 weeks, something like that. So give me 1 second, y'all. I'm trying to get all of my stuff situated. Okay, let's see. There we go. Alrighty. Give me 1 second, y'all. I don't know why it is that it always seems to take me forever to get everything together and everything ready to go. But for whatever reason, it always does. And now my iPad's frozen. Lovely. All right, y'all, give me 1 second. There we go. There we go. Let's see. Right. Alrighty, give me 1 second. Hello guys, I'm so happy y'all are here. Come. As you're hopping in, go ahead and say hello. Let me know that you're here. I'm trying to just get everything pulled up and ready on my ends. I don't know why it is, but it seems like every time I do a live, I'm always trying to figure out what it is that I'm doing. I'm always losing it. All right, tonight we are going to work on Miss Piggy. Hold on, the lighting's kind of awkward. Let me see if I can fix this. That didn't quite help. That's all right. We're going to just work with it. We'll work with what we got. Hey, Debbie, I'm glad you're here. It's been like 2 weeks since I've been live. I think it's been about 2 weeks. It's been a while. So basically what you guys missed was I was supposed to have my Jamaican wedding on June 7th. So that got canceled. I know I've mentioned that to you guys before. So those of you who might have noticed, my new last name is Fields because we just got married in our own little living room. So we had to cancel the wedding because of COVID, and then with rescheduling and our busy season, we didn't know when we would be able to reschedule it other than pushing it off for another year. So those of you that have seen the new last name Fields, that's kind of your little quick explanation. We just got married, just the two of us in our living room alone. And quite honestly, it was awesome. It was amazing. We didn't have to worry about all the fuss of a wedding. So if y'all are seeing the new name change, that's where that came from. All right, y'all, so we are gonna go ahead and hop in and get started. We're gonna do our Miss Piggy. I know I was out of this one earlier today, but Zach actually just left to go deliver some more to the store and to pick up my Jeep. My Jeep has been in the shop for 3 weeks straight. 3 weeks straight. In the last month and a half, it spent over a month in the shop. So I'm so excited. I can't wait to have my car back. But I've been stuck at the house, so it's not been so easy to get stuff to the store. So him and a friend of ours just left actually, and they are gonna go run to Pearland to pick up my car and drop off some stuff at the store, drop off some more paint, some blanks, and some of the samples that I've been doing. So, everything that we haven't had at the store yet will be at the store tonight and replenished in the morning. So, hey Mom, hey Kimberly, I'm so glad you guys are here. Thank you so much. Oh, Kimberly, you are so sweet. All right, y'all, so I did one prime coat of white, and then on the prime coat of white, I did just one coat of pink. Your pink, because it's such a pastel color, if you were to just do 2 coats of pink, you're not gonna get the depth of the pink color. It's gonna still be see-through and opaque a little bit. So I did 1 coat of white with a roller, so it's kind of thick. And then I did a coat of pink with a roller as well. So that kind of gives me my base to work with, and I'm just gonna get started on my base coating. So let's see, I brought my little brush caddy over here, so that way I don't have to worry about not having brushes, because I feel like half of the time I don't have what I need to have. So I'm gonna make sure I have everything. Hey Joy, hey Carla, I'm so glad y'all are here. We are gonna get started on our base coating. And so I'm just gonna go ahead and get started with my Cotman mop brushes. These we do have back in stock at the store and online. So if you guys are wanting a good mop brush for your base coating, we do have those ready to go. I'm gonna get started. I'm gonna actually start down here on my little floaty, and y'all, I'm mad at myself right now because I told myself to go get the blow dryer earlier and I didn't get the blow dryer. So we might have to fake it till we make it tonight, because I made sure I had everything here at my table, but I didn't bring my blow dryer. And I kind of need it for this, this little part, this floaty, because it requires several different rounds of paint. So I'm just getting started with my seafoam green. This is seafoam green number 8, and that's gonna be my base on here. I'm not worried about trying to go around all of the polka dots on here. If you were to try to do that, it would take you forever. So I'm gonna go ahead and just do a coat over top of those polka dots, knowing that I'm gonna paint them a different color, but that's kind of my start right here. Hey Melissa, I'm so glad you're here. Oh, thank you, Mom. Tell her to bring me a blow dryer. Yes, y'all. I went around my shop earlier, and I bring my cart over here to the table, right? So I can make sure that I have everything that I need. And so I was walking around the shop and grabbing everything off my cart, or everything that wasn't on my cart to put it on my cart. And the blow dryer is something that's indoors. I think I need to just get one for my shop. So I know I have paint brushes and paint and all the little extras in between, but I did not bring a blow dryer to the table. All right, so this is gonna be my very first thing. The reason I went ahead and started with this is because in order to move, here's my base coated one. In order to kind of fill in those holes, or your polka dots, excuse me, I had to go ahead and shade behind here first and then do the first color on the polka dots. I still have a whole nother color to do. So the whole reason I'm starting with that seafoam green is because I need that to dry so that I can come in with the shading, and then I can come in with the polka dots. So a little tidbit of how I select where I'm gonna begin. That was what was the deciding factor on what color I chose to start with. So let's see, I'm gonna just go ahead and kind of follow along now. We're gonna move over to light purple, number 27. Hey Donna, I'm so glad you're here. I hope you're doing well. So this is just light purple number 27. I'm still using the Cotman mop brushes. Every time you guys see me switch colors when I'm base coating, I'm simply switching colors with a new brush. I have, I don't know, at least 30 of these in my shop that I use for myself. So I kind of just throw them in the water and grab a new one when I'm on a live. That way I can make sure and be able to show you guys everything. I hope everybody's doing good tonight. It's been so long since I've been on a live that it's almost like I forgot about how my days go whenever I do lives. It's always a little bit more kind of chaotic for me. I'm totally a procrastinator, so I can know that something's coming and I don't do anything about it until it's right upon me, for whatever reason. It's just how I am. I've always been that way. So I was kind of running around today doing a million different things, which honestly sounds pretty much like my life all the time. I don't know if anybody else is like that. I kind of wish I wasn't, but it's just me. I think I've grown accustomed to it over the years. Now I'm just, I'm hitting the flower with that light yellow. Oh, what color? light yellow number 13. I was about to misquote myself and say number 14. Honestly, you could do this in any kind of different color that you want to do. I made this color list before I even painted it, so it's always a guessing game as far as what I'm going to choose whenever I'm actually painting something. And since I didn't paint this before selecting my color choices, I kind of had to really stick with what colors I picked out, because I didn't want any of our customers to be upset that I put, you know, a paint list on the back. I don't have it on the back of this one or that one. But all of our pieces now come with a paint list. I actually put one on my table for tonight that come on the back of each piece. And so if I put something on that paint list that I said I was going to use and I don't use it, you know, who wants to have to answer for that? So I kind of stuck with what I wrote on here and ended up just making it work. But don't feel like you have to stick with these colors. You could always choose and mix and match and you know, do any other colors. These just kind of, I felt went really good with pink and purple. Woo! I'm over here dripping paint. I don't know if y'all see that. I dripped it outside of that line. Totally fine. Take your finger. It's all, that pink is dry. So I'm just gonna take my finger and clean it and then wipe it off over here on the top. You got a blow dryer for me? Nana text you. Will you bring mommy a blow dryer? Sure. Carly's gonna bring me a blow dryer so we can make sure that we can do all parts of this piece together. Let's see. Oh, Debbie, you're so sweet. Debbie said she missed me. I missed you guys too. Let's see. So I guess the weekend that we were supposed to be in Jamaica, Zach and I headed over to Lake Charles for the weekend and went to LaBerge. LaBerge? Is that how you say it? I'm not really sure. It was our first time going there. We had such a great time. I think we got there on Friday. We left on Sunday. I did not charge my phone the entire weekend. And in fact, I actually did try to plug it in, but my charger was broken and didn't work. So I didn't charge it all weekend and my phone never died. So that's how you know you had a good weekend, when you can get a break from your phone and from social media and work and all of that fun stuff. So we enjoyed it. We had such a good time. In fact, my only complaint was it was not long enough. So we did that for a couple of days, and other than that, I've just been kind of trying to get back to work, and I've had a lot of stuff around my shop that's been sitting here half done for like 6 months. So I've been trying to work on that kind of stuff. All right, y'all, so far we got lime green, number 10. You have your light yellow, light purple, and seafoam green. Now I'm going to do, I mixed a pink in here on my ears and my feet. Thank you so much. My feet and my hands. And what I did was I just took some regular light pink. I don't have any that's pre-mixed that's thick enough. So I'm gonna just mix some. This has dried out paint, but I'm gonna reuse it because it's dry. So we're gonna have a little bit of light pink, and then we're gonna mix that with some shading pink to kind of get that medium color that I'm wanting for the ears. I know I've told you guys before on live, I don't remember which one it was, but we only have 2 different shades of pink in our color palette. So whenever you're wanting a shade that you don't have, a shade that's a little different, just mix it. You can make it. You don't have pink on hand, that's fine. Pull out some red and some white and mix it. You don't necessarily have to have the colors that I have to be able to, you know, find you a good pinkish color that you're wanting. So I'm trying to see, I'm almost wanting it like Pepto-Bismol, maybe-ish, a little in the middle. So I kind of just mixed all that together, and I'm feeling like it's not dark enough. So I just added a little bit more. Okay, yeah, I wanted to have, obviously, a difference of tones, but I don't want it to be too dark. I still want it to look like a medium tone. So I just went ahead and mixed that up, and I'm just grabbing a new new mop brush, and I'm gonna go ahead and get this put on my ears, the hands, and the feet. So this pattern kind of has a lot going on, but it's so fun. And I know some of you guys have gotten the smaller pig face that doesn't have, it's just the head of the pig, kind of like the cows, that has a bandana on it. And that one is simple to paint. Honestly, in comparison to this one, it's a lot simpler. I would have had a sample for you, but I actually just sent Zach with all of my samples to the store because I haven't put any of my samples at the store for like 2 weeks, 3 weeks maybe. So they needed to go over there. So I don't have them on me tonight, but I have posted photos of those in the Painters Club, as well as they are on our online listings at yardartrust.com. So if you're wanting to see a painted version of that, no worries. It's a couple of clicks away, either on Facebook or on our website. So, hey Terry, I'm so glad you're here. You need to get a mop brush. We got some in stock. In fact, we have the 5/8 and the 3/4 inch. So this is your larger one, that's 3/4. And then the one that we typically use is 5/8. Now this is an old one. I don't know if I even have any of my newer ones that still have the blue on the handle. But this is our smaller one that you always see us use, and then we have the larger one. This one's gonna be good for glittered presents too. If you guys, I know we're about to start Christmas in July, so if you know that's something that you're gonna want to work with, we do have the larger version available in store. I think they're $15. I'm sure Mary could vouch for that, but I wanna say the smaller version's $12.50 and the larger one's $15. I'm not 100% sure. Check the comments. I'm sure Mary's going to let us know, but I do know that we have both of those in stock. So this color I'm using is just a color I mixed between your light pink and your shading pink, and I'm just kind of throwing down these colors on that base. That way we can get moved on with our shading and outlining. So while I'm kind of doing this, to me, base coating is mindless, so it's easy for me to talk when I base coat. It's not as easy for me to talk when I'm, shading or outlining. So I'm going to talk while I can. And just so you guys know, those of you that are in the Yard Art Academy, we have a live on Monday with our cat. And I've been working on my end, trying to get some other versions of the cat. I know I posted a gray version yesterday, but I'm trying to also see if I can't work with some other ones and come up with some samples. So those of you in the Academy, y'all could check me out on Monday night at 7 p.m. All right, so there we got our medium pink on here. The only thing left to do on this one as far as base coating goes is a little bit on the tongue. Now you see how tiny that tongue is? Me personally, I'm not gonna pull a brush out for that. Well, first off, let me shake this before I even try to put it on my finger. But I'm literally putting a little bit on my finger and I'm just gonna rub it. Because I don't want to have to pull out a brush for something so little. Ta-da, rub it on, wipe it off. So as far as base coating it goes, on Miss Piggy, it's done. Now, let me plug in my, my daughter's blow dryer right quick, because before I can even start on my polka dots, I need to put a shading in. And the reason I'm gonna do that before I do anything else is I want the polka dots to sit on top of that shading. So you have to do this first before you can even mess with the polka dots. And then as well as the polka dots are gonna have two different coats. You're gonna do I did a shading yellow as your under, and then a light yellow on top. So not that you have to do it the way I do, but that's how I did it. So I'd rather show you guys what that looks like. So therefore I gotta pull out this blow dryer so I can get this shaded. Give me 1 second. Oh, Joy, you ready to start your new Miss Piggy? I can't wait to see what you come up with. That's awesome. Now this paint does not dry as fast as like a craft paint, an acrylic craft paint. It does take a little bit longer. So bear with me. I'm so glad you guys have been hanging out with me so far. Oh, there we go. Okay, so the larger mop brushes, your 3/4, Those are $15. Good to know. Thank you for verifying that, Mom and Debbie. All right, y'all. Oh, it's kind of making the paint bubble out of my polka dots. So I've never seen that happen before. That's a little different. So I'm gonna have to call it quits on that. Look at this. This is so weird. Can you see the bubble? It's like a little dry bubble. I'm sure it'll go down, but I don't want to keep blow drying it because it's not seeming like it's wanting to work with me. So I'm going to go ahead and grab my shader. Now on my seafoam, I did shade with teal. Not that you have to. I prefer the brighter colors, so I shaded with teal, but you could also shade with a dark green if you're somebody who likes some of the darker colors. So I have some teal. As you can see, it's separated, so I just need to mix it back together right quick. And then I'm gonna shade this little inner tube, and then I'm also going to do the shading yellow in the polka dots. So I'm kind of just getting the corner of that brush. Uh-oh, I'm already dripping. Tipping in the corner of the brush. And I'm just gonna follow the perimeter lines. Now this side right here is still really wet, so I'm trying to make sure I'm careful. You know, when you guys are doing this, obviously, if it needs some more time to dry, let it dry. But being on a live, it's just a little bit different. So that's kind of where I'm at so far. Obviously, I still need to shade the rest of it, but I'm focused on this little tube because I still have 2 more colors to get on it. So I really need it to dry so that I can move on to the next step. Had I not been on a live, it would be very different. I don't have to so much worry about being able to move quickly into the next thing. But, you know, teaching purposes wise, now I'm gonna have to turn my fan or my blow dryer back on, and let's see if we can get some of this teal dry. That way we can go ahead and do our shading yellow. Call it as good as it's gonna get, so we might have to skip a couple of polka dots as we do this, but that's okay. Now, Joy, I just seen that you asked, was my shading brush wet or dry? My shading brush was dry when I just did the teal, but I'm gonna use the same shader the entire time. So now it's wet because I dipped it in the water to kind of clean my bristles out, so to get that teal out. So all of the next colors that I'm gonna do will be wet. I prefer it dry, but if I have to use it wet, I have to use it wet. It just kind of is what it is. It don't bother me. I've been doing it for so long, it doesn't bother me either way. When it is wet, I just kind of tend to take it along the edges a couple of times and try to get some of that water out so that I can still get the same consistency as if it was dry. Now, y'all might be proud of me because I've been working on breaking in a new script liner. Those of you that have been around for a while, y'all know I don't like breaking in new brushes. I love my old brushes because they work the way I want them to work. So, show me exactly how you lay down the brush for shading. Great question, Debbie. This is still kind of wet, but if I have wet paint right here on my corner, I'm gonna take that wet corner against the perimeter and kind of pull it around. Now, as far as the pig face, I'm actually gonna do a lighter, wispier kind of shading. But like on my purple, I would get the paint on the corner, take the wet corner up against the line, and literally follow the line around. So as soon as let me get the yellow, or the shading yellow inside of our polka dots, and then we will work on some shading a little bit. Joy asked, how much water do I put in when I am shading, using shading paint? Joy, that really depends on the brush that you have. The older your brush is, I've found, the more water I need. the newer my brush is, the less water I need. I just got this one in the paint. So hold on. Let me see if I can show you the difference between, is this one mine? No, this one's not it. This is my favorite script liner. As you can see, it's bent. I've used it. I literally use them until I cannot use them anymore. So it's bent. Traditionally, you wouldn't want a bent brush. But me personally, because I'll use this brush for several hours a day, every day, I like it being bent because it's going to turn and glide the way I want it to. So here's a new brush I just started with trying to break in, and then here's an old brush. You can kind of see the difference. These are the same exact brush. They're both Royals. They're both number 4s. But here's an old one and here's a new one. So this old one, I always need more water in my paint because that works and glides easier for me. My new ones, it almost glides and makes it opaque, almost see-through. So my newer brushes, I have to use less water. It's honestly very dependent on what brushes that you have. And I'm gonna say start with no water and try it. And if it's gliding okay, you're good. If it's not gliding a long distance, add a couple of drops of water. It's really gonna be dependent based on your brush, the stroke that you're trying to achieve, and the look that you're going for. So there's not one blanket answer. It's just one of those things you kind of got to play with it. So I'm going to switch over to my script liner. This is a new one I'm trying to break in. So it's still real straight. It's still going to work really good. So this is the same one. This is that Royal Gold number 4, the same ones that we had in store. I don't know if we have any more, but this is what we did have. So I know a lot of you guys were able to get this. So now I'm kind of just coming inside of these lines, and I'm hitting that line on the perimeter of it, but I'm trying to stay on the inside. So this yellow, it's very see-through. You can really see a lot of this teal through here, but we are going to come over top of it with a light yellow. And so all that part that you can see through right now, you won't be able to see through it when we get done. So I don't want you guys to worry about that if you're seeing that, because really we're going to cover up most of this with a sponge dauber. Now, if you're somebody who does not like polka dots, you're kind of over the polka dots, you are always welcome to take some wood putty and come in here, and you can putty in these holes, or in these grooves, excuse me, with some wood putty and a putty knife, and you can sand it down, and you can essentially take away the polka dots if you didn't want them there. That's always an option for somebody who doesn't like polka dots. So if you find a pattern that we have and you say, oh man, I like that pattern, but I wish it didn't have XYZ, fill in the blank, stars, polka dots, whatever it is, you can always fix that on your own with some wood putty and a putty knife. So just a little food for thought. Now this yellow I'm using is already watered down because it is a typical shading color for me. So whenever I have any of those shading colors, I already have water added into them. Because whenever I'm working in my normal day-to-day, I want to be able to grab what I need to use and use it quickly and efficiently. So a lot of times I already have these pre-mixed with water because I know I know the consistency that I like and that I need. So this one is pre-mixed, so that's probably also why it looks a little bit more see-through. If I didn't have water added in here, it wouldn't be so opaque at the moment. I don't know if you guys can see that, but you can still see a little bit of that teal through there. By the time it dries and you get the light yellow on top of it, trust me, you won't be able to tell any of that. Because it's really almost going to just be like a little accent, a little highlight to the light yellow when it's all said and done. I always feel like whenever I'm doing polka dots, especially if I'm doing them with the script liner, it always takes me a while. But that's okay. Y'all just bear with me. Kind of getting over to that part that was wet and bubbling up, so I'm curious if any wet paint might get pulled up, but that's okay if it does. Because it's just paint, and we could always wait on it to dry and paint over top of it if we don't like it. That's the nice thing about this. You could always fix it. Alrighty, so I just have a couple more to go. And then we'll be able to switch over to our ready piece, our dry piece. All right, y'all. I'll wash out my brush and set it aside so I can reuse it. So if I drop it in that bucket, it gets lost in the bucket. All right, so there's the look so far for base coating. I'm gonna go ahead and set this one aside because I do have one that is already dry. All right, so dry version. Now I painted this a couple of weeks ago, so I definitely need to Windex because I know it's gonna have dirt and dust and all sorts of gross stuff on top of it that's gonna prevent my paint from gliding the way I want it to. Okay, so let's see. I want to say, I'm trying to think of what I want to start with. I already have, obviously, that dark yellow done. It's already dry. I might go ahead and just get that, the yellow inside of here, so that way that can be dry for when I go and do my outline. Every time I'm coming and I'm grabbing a new brush or I'm grabbing a new color, I'm constantly thinking about what I'm doing next, so then I can gauge what needs to be done first, second, third, fourth, etc., so that I can continue working and I don't have to sit and wait on paint to dry. So that's kind of where you see me going through here with my train of thought and my kind of talking out loud to myself. I'm trying to really figure out what I need to do that's going to keep me working. I don't like having to stop and wait and stop and wait. Me personally, I'm like I have that squirrel brain, you know, so I might be doing something and then I realize, oh man, I need to go do something else. And then I run and go do that. And then it's like, by the time the day gets done, I feel exhausted and everything's halfway done. So because I have that mentality, I try to keep myself on pace with what I need to be doing. And so I like to make sure that whatever I'm doing flows evenly and quickly into the next step. So I'm gonna come right back over top of these polka dots. This is the Martha Stewart 3/4 inch little dauber. You can get a 6-pack of these on Amazon for $6.50. And I'm just kind of gonna daub it right in the middle of all of our polka dots. So really, by the time you do this, that shading yellow that we just put on there, you're only gonna really see that on the rim. Let me show you guys what that means. You don't see a whole lot of it by the time I'm done. And I wanted it to be like that because I wanted it to look like more detail than what I really did to it. You know, you want it to look like it took you more time than it did. Or at least I think that that looks good, but you know, not that you have to do it this way at all. You could do it whatever way you want. But I'm just putting that sponge right here in the middle and kind of dabbing down with the light yellow over top of the shading yellow. I also think this would look really good in purple. For me, I wanted to bring in as much color as possible. But you could also do this very simply with a smaller color palette as well. So. I kind of always have to focus a little bit more, and I don't seem to talk as much whenever I'm doing the more detailed work. Get a little bit of more paint. I don't need a whole lot, but I do like the sponge to have enough in here. And that way when it goes down, I don't have to worry about coming back over it twice because it's a full polka dot. All right, so polka dots on my little inner tube are done. The reason I started with that first is because I need that to dry for when I outline. So now we're gonna just get started on our shading. This brush is a very old brush. I don't even have the handle part left on it. I lose a lot of my handles because I leave them in water a little too long and it kind of takes the handle off. But this is gonna be similar to a number 12 shader. That's just a flat shader, number 12, that's gonna be along the same size that you would be finding on that. So I am going to, I'm trying to think, I'm gonna do my purple and we're gonna do pink. We're gonna do pink first. Now that same pink I just used on the ears is what I'm gonna also use on the face, the arms, and the legs. So just like before, I'm just dabbing a little bit in the corner of the brush. And on this look, I'm not trying to get very much on here. I'm not going around the perimeter. I'm kind of doing more swishy kind of lines. So I don't want too much in my brush. I almost want it kind of on a lighter, wispier fashion. It's like take down or bring it down, let it up, bring it down, let it up type of fashion. You can like fully outline this pattern, or excuse me, fully shade it, but me personally, I felt like the wispy lines looked better, but everybody has their own preference. So, you know, you do it how you want to do it. This is just how I did it. All right. So as far as the pink body, I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm not trying to do too much. I am gonna bring more shading in on the ears, the hands, and the feet, but I'm gonna do that here in a little bit. I'm gonna wash my brush out and switch on over to shading purple number 28. I'm glad I put that sticker on my table tonight. It's making it a little bit simpler. So shading purple number 28, and I'm gonna just do that on the swimsuit. Let me see. Hoping I got it mixed up good enough and I don't have to use a spoon to pull out a spoon for it. Yeah, that's good enough. All right, so mine already does have a little bit of water added to it. Again, if you're somebody who is new and you're not sure about the amount of water to add to it, start with none. If it's gliding quickly and easily, then you're good. If it's not gliding, then start adding a couple of drops of water until you find the desired amount that works for you and your brush. So I literally just came right over here and moved right over here in one fell swoop because my paint had enough water in it. Alrighty. Now, as far as my purple goes, I can be done. I can put swish marks on it, but I almost feel like it almost makes it accentuate a certain area that, you know, who wants to really accentuate on anything. So I'm gonna leave it like that on the purple as just a kind of a perimeter shading. And now we're gonna move on and do the shading on the pink and then the flower and the leaves. I'm just kind of washing out that brush, getting that color out of that brush. Get my lid back on here too. I think I'm gonna go ahead and do the yellow right quick. Now I used this 1/2 inch flat wisp. I know I showed you guys this brush on the cows that I did. So I'm using this in my flower. Honestly, when a flower is really small like this, to me, it's hard to figure out what you want to do with it. Because this technique that I typically use goes a lot better on wider spaces. So I really just got a tiny little bit of the shading yellow over here at the end of my bristles, and I'm starting in the middle and just kind of fanning them outward. There's really no right or wrong to this. Like I said, it's just me personally. I prefer bigger flowers. This one wasn't very big, so I had to improvise and do the best that I could. And this is what I came up with. Now I didn't want to do very much on there because it's so small, it's really easy to go overboard. So I just kind of gave it a little bit of a light feathered look to it, and I'm gonna leave it. I might feather in a little bit of white into there later, but I need that to dry before I can feather anything else in. So let me dry my brush and set it aside. All right, y'all, now we're gonna go ahead and do our shading pink. Or this is actually, I want to call it a medium pink because we call this one a shading pink. So the medium pink, it was a mixture of shading pink and light pink together. Looks like this one got dried out. Yep, that one's trash. I gotta make a new one right quick. You know, after so many times of taking your lid on and off, the lids get a bunch of dried paint on them and then they won't go down and actually suction to your cup, so then the paint ends up getting dried out. So happens all the time. I just throw it away and grab me a new one and get started all over again. So I'm just starting with that shading pink and mixing in a little bit of water. I'm mixing it into the desired amount that I know I need. I've worked with my brushes for a long time, so I know what I'm comfortable with. I can honestly look at it and tell you if it's going to work or not work for me. Based on the thickness of it. But this is all dependent on your brush, so don't start with water if you're somebody who hasn't ever tried it before. Start with it just plain. So I'm really just dipping it into the corner and kind of following along with these lines. Now I want it to be light and flowy. I'm not trying to be too dark or harsh on here. And if I'm being completely honest with you guys, I struggle with small spaces. I feel like I'm a lot better with bigger items and bigger spaces. I just feel like it lends itself a little bit better to my knowledge and my skills. And so when I'm doing things that are that have a smaller space that I'm working in, for me, it's a little bit more of a challenge. So a lot of you probably feel that same way, and I want you to know that you're not alone. I feel the same challenge myself sometimes. And so it's just one of those things, just keep practicing, and eventually you'll figure it out. It takes some patience with yourself, you know, but give yourself a little bit of time. So I'm just kind of getting some little white wisps on here with that shading pink. And this is number 26. Now the good thing about this is I'm not trying to be perfect at all. I'm not even trying to make sure that it looks like a perfect circle or a perfect straight line or anything like that. I want it to be really wispy. So I'm not being very particular on that. So as far as that shading goes, I'm good. I'm comfortable with it. Now I am gonna only take the remnants of what's left in my brush. Y'all can look at the brush and see there's not a whole lot in there. But I'm gonna take a little bit of that remnants and I'm gonna sit here and kind of follow over top of some of those lines I've already made. Just some light wispy lines. And what that's gonna do is it's just gonna add another dimension to the colors I'm using on that shading. You see how you have the light pink as your base? I have that medium pink that I mixed and then the shading pink on top of that. Personally, I liked the look like that. Not that you have to do it that way. I thought that that looked good. Let me see. As far as shading goes, I'm actually done. Trying to think about that and make sure I'm done before I actually put my brush up. The leaves, the lime green leaves are so small that I can't really get this brush into there. I can't get a shader into there comfortably. So that means that I am going to use a script liner to kind of form the leaves. So now I'm going to go ahead and I have lime green on here. I'm gonna grab a little bit of my dark green, my shading green, or I think we call it. Yeah, it is dark green number 12. If you don't have dark green number 12, but you have lime green or you have Christmas green, you can make a similar green with lime or Christmas and then add a little bit of black to it. So if you don't have a darker one, no worries. Take the lime that you have, add a little bit of black, and you can use that. Or take Christmas green, add a little bit of black, and you can use that. So I'm gonna just grab this dark green number 12, and I'm just gonna add in a couple of wispy lines to make my leaves look like leaves. So I used my brush to stir up my paint. So it's got quite a bit of paint on it, and then I kind of scraped it off. Now, like I said, you have such a small area in here. There's not a whole lot that you can really do. So I'm starting with the lines down the middle, and then I'm gonna kind of come in, oh, I think I need a little more paint. I'm gonna kind of come in and give it some little leaf-like branches coming off. Now, y'all, honestly, whenever I was working on this as my pattern, I wasn't really loving this at all. But by the time I actually got the white and the black inside of there, it looked a lot better. So I know it looks a little funky right now, but by the time you get some more shades inside of there, I think you might like the way it comes out. Okay, let's see. I'm trying to just think. I think I'm good to go ahead and get some black now and start. Yes, I think I'm good. Start on my outline. So this one is just your black number 37. I've already got a little bit of water added into it, and I'm just using that same script liner I've been using. This is your Royal Gold number 4 script liner. Gotta add a little bit more water. My black and me and this brush that I have work a lot better if my black is really watered down. But that's just the brush that I have. That doesn't necessarily mean that works for everybody. Now at this point, all of those lines that are already etched on here for you, this is exactly the time when you use them. And you allow that to be your coloring book, your guide, and you just follow along with them. You can choose whether you follow along on the inside of the line or on the outside of the line, and that's really a personal preference. If the piece is bigger, then I typically go on the outside of the line. If it's smaller, I typically stay on the inside of the line. But you can find whatever works for you, and that's the nice thing about already having your pattern etched into there. Now you're gonna see me outline kind of the middle parts of everything on the pig, other than the outside parts. We're gonna do the face, and we're gonna do the swimsuit and the little floaty, like traditional, right? Which is where we're just following the lines and kind of filling that in. Now when we're doing the perimeter of her body, we're gonna go back to the wispy lines that we did on the shading. So we're gonna kind of stick with whatever it is that we're doing in that theme and kind of stay along those lines. So if our shading lines are light and wispy, then our outline lines are gonna be light and wispy. If our shading lines run the perimeter, then our outline lines are gonna run around the perimeter. That's kind of how I choose what I'm doing. That's just my own personal train of thought, but you know, you stick with what you wanna do. Sometimes whenever I don't know what I want to do, I find it helpful to know what other people's trains of thought are, so that way I can kind of determine what it is that I'm trying to do myself. So as you can see, I stuck with the perimeter on that. Now, when it comes to the face, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do quite opposite of that. I'm going to actually make sure I'm offloading some of that on my brush, but just grabbing a little bit in the tip and kind of following along very light-handed. I'm not coming down with any kind of force. I'm just really keeping it light and wispy. You see the difference, your outlining difference between the middle and the edges? That's just the way I chose to do it. Not that anybody has to do it that particular way. Now, when it comes to your flower and your leaves, I don't typically go to black for an outline because it's very dark. But with this one being so small, if I were to do this any other way, like I would typically do anything else, I would be pulling in so many different colors. That just didn't make sense to me either. So we're just gonna do some lighter black lines. I am following the perimeter, but I'm not trying to be too dark with it or too thick. I'm trying to keep it light while following along with the lines because it's just a small surface area. Hey, Danae, I'm so glad you're here, hon. I hope Chris is feeling better. Danae's been, her significant other's been sick and was in the hospital and stuff, so I know she's been having a hard time. So anybody who's in here, if y'all can give her some virtual hugs, I know she needs them. I'm just now realizing now that I'm putting black on here, I probably should have feathered in some white before doing this, but I didn't. So we'll just have to script liner in a little bit of white and feather it that way. Now, if you don't care for the black, another really good option that I love with yellows and the shading yellow is the red orange number 19. I did not personally use it because then it just adds a heck of a lot more colors for you guys. But if you don't care for the black, try outlining this in that red orange, and that would be really pretty. It'd give you a great contrast. So now inside of the leaves, over top of the green I already did, I'm gonna do the wispiest, lightest lines of black. I am not trying to cover up all the work I've already done. I'm just trying to almost come in between everything I've already done. Sometimes it's easier said than done. It don't look that great, but that's okay. Let me show you guys. Kind of in the middle of there. You don't want to be too dark with it. Now I'm going to turn it around and kind of continue. So on the arms and the hands, because I did the light wispy lines with my shader, I'm going to continue with my script liner with light wispy lines. Just a personal preference. Obviously, if you prefer to just stick with the perimeter, that's fine. You could always do that. This was just me and my own version I came up with. So whenever I'm trying to keep it light and wispy, I don't want much paint inside of my brush. I want it in the very light end so that if I took this brush and I'm trying to go a long distance, it's not going to go a long distance. And that's what I'm wanting because I don't want it too full. Thanks, Debbie. You're so sweet. We just love you. Debbie's sending Danae some love. All right, y'all. Now, when it comes to the bathing suit, because I did that perimeter shading line, I'm kind of doing the same with the perimeter outlining. I'm following along. You're going to want to match whatever style you're using. Whatever paint style you're using, use that paint style throughout. This is just the paint style. I'm kind of flipping back and forth in this one, so that's just kind of the style I have going. So now I'm just going to kind of follow it around. I think I've only seen Lynn in her version of Miss Piggy, but has anybody else been able to paint theirs or yet, or have y'all been waiting on a live? I know Lynn posted, I think it was her and her granddaughter maybe did theirs, and it was so cute. I feel like maybe somebody else did post, and I'm not remembering the name. But I love seeing what you guys come up with. It is so fun. It also helps me to get new ideas. Do y'all know how hard it is sometimes when you're doing a new pattern to pick out what colors you're gonna use? That's like half the battle. It really is. I can't tell y'all how many times I've started a new pattern, I've repainted it 2, 3, 4, 5 times. Sometimes I even just throw it in the trash because I've repainted it so much that the work it's gonna take to finish it out, I'm like, well, just burn it and I'll cut a new one. So it's hard to figure that out sometimes, so. But I love seeing when you guys are able to kind of create your own little thing. And I'm like, oh man, that's a great idea. I love that. Yeah, I gotta do that. That's always fun. All right, y'all. So black outline, I'm done. All I need left to do on him is some white, a little bit of white highlights. This one's not a difficult pattern. It does have a lot going on. So that part might be a little bit harder for some people. But as far as some of your shading and outlining goes, I felt like that part on this one is a little bit easier than it is on some of our other patterns. It's not as intricate, I guess. All right, so now I'm just gonna grab a little bit of white. My white already has some water mixed in. Oh no, that's an old one. All right, that one's trash. I need a trash can over here because sometimes I think I don't realize I have like 3 different cups that I'm using at once. So that always means inevitably something's old. So this white probably is 40, maybe 50% water. That's just because of the brush I use is really old, and it seems to glide for me a lot easier if it has a lot of water in it. The newer the brush, the less water I find that I personally need, and the older my brush, the more water I need. That's just my brush. So everybody's brush is different. It's kind of like a signature. You know, you're gonna have to learn what works better for you and your brush. So now when I'm doing those highlights, I'm really not trying to do anything too specific. I just kind of want to bring some white in to all of my areas. And that's really the only thing I'm going for, is just giving it a little bit of white. I don't have a heck of a lot of space in that nose, so it's hard to do much in there, but now I know I told you I needed to feather some white in on my flower. I accidentally just feathered some black in. That's okay. I caught it and I could clean it. But I didn't feather it in before I did the black. So now I'm just having to use a little bit of white and try to feather that. I literally have barely anything on here. And I'm just trying to kind of come in here and break some of that yellow up. I really should have done this with my wisp. But I didn't do it before the black dried, so that's okay. Hey, Deidre, I'm so glad you're here. I haven't seen you in a while. Oh, thank you. You like Miss Piggy. That's awesome. Thank you, guys. Oh, Joy says that she loves the shading and the highlights. It does bring it alive. I have to agree. Honestly, the highlights, it's like you can really, there's just so much you could really do with it. And it's one of those things, it's kind of like you have to just learn to step away after a while, or else you'll just never stop. So yeah, I just added just a touch of white into there. I didn't want it to be too much, just a real light amount. Now, Zach left, I don't know, he left right when we got live, to take my samples down to Pearland. So all the samples that I've done in the last 2 or 3 weeks that are not in Pearland will be in Pearland tomorrow. My apologies for that, y'all. My Jeep has been in the shop for 3 weeks. I have not had a vehicle, so I've been stuck at home, and it's been just kind of hard trying to get down there to bring stuff down there. So he's actually going and picking up my Jeep and dropping off a bunch of stuff at the store. So I shall have a vehicle again tomorrow. I'm excited. All right, y'all, that's my finished look. I just brought in a little bit of white highlights to touch it all off. And that is what she looks like. What do you guys think? Honestly, I also think that this would look really good with just like purples and blues. Even no yellow on there, like purples and blues together with the pink would look really great. There's a million different color combinations that you could really do on this. That's the look that I sought after and I tried to achieve, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let's see, Debbie says the highlights make all the difference. I could not agree more. I know I've told you guys years ago when my mom told me you have to do white highlights. And I'm like, well, what is white highlights? She's like, you have to do these brush marks. And I'm like, and I tried it with the brush and I was like, these look horrible. I'm not going to do them, y'all. And then of course I realized, yeah, no, I have to do them. It doesn't look good without them. So I finally gave in one of those years and learned how to do the white highlights. And honestly, it's been the best thing this entire time. I don't even know how. I feel like I need to give a refund to some people that bought my stuff 10 years ago because it looks like CRAP, you know? Because I didn't do anything. I didn't try to do shading and outlining and highlights. I didn't try to put that much effort into it. And it really does bring your piece to life. So if there's anything that you want to forfeit, I hope that highlighting is not one of them. Because as we can all tell, it really is what's going to bring it to life. So I know I also posted this picture on our club page yesterday. This is our kitty cat that we are going to do this one Monday in our Yard Art Academy. So those of you that signed up for the membership, we're going to work on this one on Monday live at 7 o'clock. So here's a look on that one. And then let's see, let me see what else we have. I just had my calendar flew off. But we have that live Monday in the Academy. And then I want to say we have a live next Thursday in Yard Art Us Painters Club for the truck with the Texas flag and the blue bonnets in the state of Texas, I believe, with Mary. So look for us then. And we appreciate you guys hanging out with us tonight. Y'all make sure and send us your photos after you guys get done painting your pieces. And if you're interested in getting Miss Piggy, we were sold out, but we're having more delivered tonight, and they will be in stock in the morning. So we hope to see you guys soon. Send us your photos, and we will see you guys live Monday night in Painters Academy. Thanks, guys. I appreciate y'all coming. I'll see y'all later.